there! Hi, everybody! Thanks for joining Science with Sam! We're going to learn about environmental adaptations. This is week 2 of our 2-part animal adaptations lesson. You found me walking through my garden here, and thank gosh I have behaviorally adapted to having this microphone on my face since quarantine. Let's learn about environmental adaptations. Environmental adaptation is the adaptation to a changing environment. These adaptations can affect local populations instead of whole populations. For example, Luna moths can be found in many states throughout the U.S., but depending on the specific state or environment that they are in, they have a different mating season. Where it's cold, they'll take flight once per year to mate. While in warmer states like Florida, they will mate all year round. Environmental adaptations help species to thrive in the specific habitat they are in. Usually, new changes occur slowly, giving creatures time to adapt. However, with increased human altering of many habitats, some creatures are not able to adapt fast enough to survive. And how could they? So, how do adaptations form, and why have some creatures adapted while others went extinct? This is called natural selection. Natural selection is the process of passing down traits and favorable genes that best help a species to survive. This is a natural process that can be observed in a short period of time with a few generations or over a long period of time. Long-term adaptations can lead to new species altogether. It works like this. 16 million years ago, giraffes looked like today's deer. They had short necks like a lot of other creatures on the Sahara. All these species were eating the same grasses and shrubs, so food was getting scarce on the ground, causing some creatures to starve. But there was plenty of food in the trees that nothing could reach. Eventually, a giraffe was born with a genetic mutation that made its neck a little bit longer than others, allowing it to reach food in the trees and become healthy and strong. When it had babies, it passed down that longer neck gene to its offspring, allowing them to eat from trees as well. Over time, this long neck gene allowed more and more giraffes to reach into the trees, keeping them from competing for food. While the giraffes with the shorter neck were not able to adapt to the limited food source, the longer neck giraffes not only survived, but thrived, to the point where all giraffes we see today have extremely long, useful necks. Are all genetic mutations beneficial? The answer is no. Genetic mutation is a permanent change in the arrangement of the structure of DNA strands. DNA is the blueprint for all living organisms, but the blueprints are different in each organism. DNA is made up of 4 bases that pair together: A, G, C, and T. The arrangement of these bases determines everything about a creature, from what their body looks like to how their body functions. Genetic mutations are typically random phenomenons that occur, but natural selection highlights specific mutations that benefit the overall survival of a species, usually long term. There can be unsuccessful mutations where those individuals were not able to adapt and went extinct, like the woolly mammoth. There are also a few creatures that were so successful that they haven't changed for millions of years. Research shows crocodilians have remained virtually untouched by any major evolutionary change for at least 8 million years. To put that in perspective, the modern form of humans have only been around for 200,000 years. Hats off to the crocodilians for being so adapted to their environment. There are even a few cases where genetic mutations in one species created 2 entirely new species, where both mutations were so successful that they both survived instead of one going extinct. This gives us biodiversity. Biodiversity is the variety of life forms in an ecosystem. No matter how small, every species has an important job in their habitat. And habitats with higher biodiversity are more abundant and healthier. In an ecosystem, if there are multiple food plants, there will be multiple species of herbivores. And the more herbivores, the more carnivores can live there too. Biodiversity is the key indicator of a healthy ecosystem. To conclude, Adaptation is everywhere in all kinds of ways, physical, behavioral, or environmental. If a creature doesn't adapt, it might not survive, but those that do become stronger, healthier, and more resilient. All living beings must learn to adapt to survive to their own changing situation, like how we adapted to online lessons while you stay safe at home. Thanks for joining Science with Sam. I hope you guys enjoyed our part 2 lesson of our animal adaptations.